All right, so as we know, the current day Democrats are like domestic terrorists. They're America last. They're Americans last. They love illegals. Nowadays they want to riot against ICE. They hate ICE because ICE is getting rid of, the illegals that for some reason they support. Well, we know the reasons because illegals give them the votes. But a rational individual, these people that are having protests and such, they should be able to think and understand that illegals aren't good instead of joining raids and all this dumb nonsense protests. I mean, and all this dumb nonsense like I made a video about previously. But yeah, and Democrats also, even though they like to try to deflect and gaslight, they really are like current day fascists, Nazis, etc. If you take a look at the Democrat platform of today and like the Nazi platform of, the Third Reich, there's a lot in common. Like, one thing was the elimination of guns and well, I don't really know any off the top of my head, but there is a graphic. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna find the graphic because I feel like an idiot right now. All right, so yeah, it's right here. It shows that the Nazis back in the day and the Democrats, what do they have in common? They want to control the schools. They want to control healthcare. They want to take your guns, have high taxes, control the majority of industry. They're socialists. They blame capitalism for everything. And if you notice, Republicans aren't really for any of that. I mean, as a Republican myself, I definitely am not for high taxes. I don't really care about guns, but I'm not for gun control and all this. You want a gun? Cool, have a gun, or 10 or whatever suits your fancy. Blame capitalism? I think capitalism is a good system that works because it gives everybody an equal opportunity to make themselves great. You just got to put in the effort and time. Obviously, at the same time, that means you're not a socialist, and so on. So, yeah. Anyhow, but they like to gaslight and say that Trump is a fascist, he's a dictator, yada, 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 which is also funny because the Biden was basically a dictator, trying to push through all this legislation that he wanted to do, like, forgiving student loan debt and stuff, even though the Supreme Court said that, no, you can't do that. And what was his response? I'll find a way around the Supreme Court. Like, no, you won't, dickhead. That's not how that works. They told you no, then it's game over. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about was this recent graphic that I just saw today. Let me just get out of the way so you can see it. It says 198 House Democrats vote against voter ID. And then there's the actual results down there. Republicans 216, none of them said no. Democrats only 5 said yes, 198 said no. So, per usual, it's the Democrats being scumbags and voting no. Oh, we shouldn't have voter ID to vote. It's funny. You need an ID for everything else in life. You want to go buy cigarettes or alcohol, you need an ID to prove that you're of age. You want to go, back in the day, you wanted to rent adult films, you needed an ID to prove that you were of age. You want to get a tattoo, you probably, I don't know, I don't have any, but I'd assume you need an ID to prove that you're of age. If you look young and you want to go to an R-rated movie, you need an ID. You need an ID for everything. But yet, for some reason, when it comes to voting, Democrats just think, no, you can just walk on in and just vote. Who cares? But why? It's because it goes into how they cheat. That's the first thing they'll cry about. Oh, we don't cheat. Republicans cheat. Really? Because Republicans are the ones that voted yes. All of them voted yes for voter ID requirements. But you guys think it's fine to not have voter IDs, because if there's no voter IDs, then that means there's no real way to check anything. That means anybody's voting. Some illegal that just came into the country yesterday could vote. Somebody even who's just here on vacation could vote in our elections. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. It also means that people can vote multiple times. If you're not checking IDs and stuff, then there's no real method of how you're checking who's voting in the first place. That means Joe Schmo comes in today, he comes in again tomorrow. Now candidate X just got 2 votes by one person. And this is also how, in the Biden election, this is how dead people were able to vote. I mean, to a certain degree, I guess. This was all mail-in. So, yeah, I guess, mail-in. Mail-in has no voter ID, so you just go to a cemetery and you start writing names down. Oh, this person voted for Joe Biden. This dead person voted for Joe Biden. But it's just, I wanted to talk about this because it's just ironic. The Democrats will cry about Republicans about everything, and they'll try to gaslight all the time about everything, But then they go and do something dumb and egregious like this, and it just shines a light on how much of liars they are and gaslighters. Like, this just proves what everybody's been saying about you, you stupid Democrats. We talk about how you cheat all the time, and we don't cheat. Oh, you just want to say that we cheated because you can't accept a loss. Ugh. Really? This is supposed to help convince us either. Seeing that you all voted against voter ID requirements, that's really going to help us change our mind? We're going to see this now and we're supposed to think, oh yeah, Democrats aren't cheating. Yeah, they're honest. Yeah, I mean, they don't want voter IDs because insert lame excuse here. I mean, there's literally no good reason to not want voter IDs. Literally none. I mean, I hope that this passed because even though all the Democrats voted against it, all the Republicans did vote for it. But at the same time, I think, don't you need to have like a 2/3 majority? And if 221 said yes and 198 said no, that's not really a 2/3 majority. So, but then again, it's 2/3 of the whole House, right? So 435 times 2 divided by 3, I don't really know what that is off the top of my head. Yeah, so it looks like that comes out to be 290. So that total from the Republicans of 216 plus the 5 Democrats making 221 isn't enough. So yeah, they don't even have a 2/3. So that means this didn't pass. I mean, it's not shot down either. It's just kind of in a flux for now. But yeah, it's really all I had to say. I mean, there's nothing else to talk about. I just wanted to highlight this about, the lying, gaslighting Democrats at it again. And I'm sure they'll have all kinds of dumb, lame excuses. You'll see the moron Hakeem Jeffries trying to defend this. You'll see what other idiot, Harry Sisson, that moron will probably have a lot to say in support of this and act like the Republicans are bad. I can't believe you'd want voter ID. That's just racist to ask for somebody to have a voter ID because people in black communities have a harder time getting IDs or some lame nonsense. And it's like, really? You want to call Republicans racist and all this, but then you're going to go and say something stupid like that? Which, again, really only highlights how out of touch they are. You know what I mean? Like, they're so stupid that they don't realize how blatantly racist they are by saying something like that black people have, like that one time, who was it, Hochul? Oh, black people have a harder time getting access to computers. Really? Especially in today's day and age? Really? You get a job, you buy one. Laptops are cheap nowadays. You can buy a cheap tablet even nowadays. Like, what kind of a lame excuse is that? Yeah, it's just anything to be racist, though, because that's what Democrats are all about, even though it's the Republicans. Trump, he's super racist. Not Biden, the guy that said that you can't go to a 7-Eleven without seeing an Indian person or a Dunkin's. I don't know where you get the Dunkin's thing from either. I've never been to a Dunkin's with a Indian person working at it, but okay. Okay, Mr. Non-Racist Biden. Or how poor kids are just as smart as white kids, which you know what that means. He thinks of poor people as non-white. But no, he's not racist. It's Trump, the guy that has helped black communities out and has done actually a lot more for the black community in his first term than Obama did in his whole entire term. But yep, it's Trump. He's racist because he's enforcing ICE. That must be what makes him racist, right? To get rid of illegals, that means you're racist. To not have your country overrun by people that don't believe here and don't believe in your way of life and don't have a care for the country even. That's racist to get rid of them. Anyways, that's really all I got. I feel like I'm just rambling now. So thanks for listening and have a great day.